Hello, happy Saturday. My name is Kirsten, if you don't already know, and here on this channel, we are all about good vibes. We're all about self-care, manifesting our most whimsical, best life. And so if that resonates with you, make sure that you click subscribe to follow along on all of my tips and tricks, because I really am literally living my dream life. Literally living my dream life. And there was a lot of mental work that I had to go through to get to this point, but I want to share it with everyone so that more people can really just live in themselves and do the things that make them happy. So, our first topic for this series is going to be how you can manifest friendship. It is so hot out here, but I really felt compelled to come out here and do this episode for you guys. Speaking of living your best life, I literally was having kind of a mediocre night last night, and I woke up feeling good, and I thought to myself, what could I do to really turn my day around and really be appreciative for what I have? And literally one of my favorite forms of self-care is coming to Disney, so I decided to come here to Epcot for lunch. I'm having fish and chips and the English Rose from the pub at the UK Pavilion, and I'm just really soaking it up and so happy that I get to be here on a Thursday in the middle of the day and can just do whatever I want. And it really is amazing. It is definitely something I've manifested. But enough about me. Let's get into the tips about how you can manifest better friendships. So I don't want this video to be too long, and I only want to keep it in one part. So I'm going to try really hard to condense it to maybe 5 tips. But if I feel compelled, I might make part 2. The number one tip I have from you is probably the most important, and that is to really take 100% ownership over your friendships and how they're turning out. This tip alone will get you so much further than most people. Most people blame other people for why things are happening. They blame other people for their relationship, and honestly, it doesn't matter what your friend did. It doesn't matter what their shitty habits are. Your friendship with them is 100% a reflection of you. It's a reflection of yourself. And so if you take 100% responsibility for why your friendship with someone is the way it is, then you can change it, and you will change it. You feel like you and X person don't talk enough, and in your head you're blaming said person for why you don't talk enough, why they don't call you and all this other stuff, but you're not doing that as well. Well, if you called them more, you would talk more, and in turn maybe then that would prompt them to communicate with you more. And so you just, everything involving your friendships, take ownership of it, and I'm telling you, that is the one tip. Number 2 is one of those things where if you know, you know, and if you don't understand, you're just not going to understand. But quit saying that you don't have friends. Quit saying that your friends are shitty. Quit saying that you don't like your friends. Quit saying that you hate your friends. Quit saying that you don't like anyone, because you're literally manifesting that. If you keep saying that you have shitty friends, then you're going to go into all of your friendships with a really terrible attitude, and no one is going to want to be around you. So quit saying that out loud. You'd be surprised at how much better you'll feel if you really are appreciative of the friends you have in the way that they can make you whole. This next one is probably going to hurt some feelings, but some of you really, really need to hear this. And when you are seeking out friendships with people, you need to seek them out for the right reasons, because honestly, you get what you ask for. And a lot of people, especially in the space I'm in social media, will seek friendships with certain people because of who they are and how many followers they have, how popular they are, etc., and not because of their personality or because of the things they do or their interests. And so if you're actually trying to manifest friendship and you get yourself into one of those situations, you're not going to be fulfilled, because it's not a real friend. So when you're manifesting friends, be very intentional about what you're asking for. Ask for friends that you actually like. 4th tip: stop treating your friends like God. They are not responsible for your mood. Yes, when you are around your friends, it should be positive energy. That's how you know it's a good situation, and they should uplift your mood, but it is not their responsibility. It is your responsibility to improve your mood. It is not your friend's responsibility, and therefore don't put that burden on them, because you're just going to be disappointed. Don't have the expectations that someone's supposed to do whatever you want and uplift your mood. That's not your friend's responsibility. Just don't do it. Be a good friend. And that doesn't mean that you have to spend lots of money or dedicate a ridiculous amount of time, but just think to yourself, would you want to be friends with you? Are you using people? Would you want to be used? If you are not the type of friend that you want to be, but you want to have, then reevaluate yourself before you try to feel entitled to anybody's friendship. Fix yourself. All right, so it's hot as Hades, and I gotta finish this video up at home. I had to leave, y'all. I had to leave. It was too much. Okay, so I'm actually going to rewind a little bit. Now that I'm indoors, in my brain can function properly, let me elaborate on tip number one about accountability. So basically, how this works is if you put the onus on somebody else, if you claim that they're the reason why things aren't working, and that basically you are a victim to whatever their habits and behaviors are, then you are no longer in control of that situation. And if you're not in control of the situation, you're not going to be in the control of the situation. You're not going to be able to change the situation. The second you take control of the situation will change. Now, you can evaluate moving forward if it's something you want to continue doing. You can evaluate moving forward if maybe you want to tweak your behavior, or maybe, how the other person responds. But the situation is not going to change until you take ownership of it and allow it to change. So just keep that in mind. If you want to hang out with someone more, stop waiting for them to reach out to you, because they might not feel comfortable with that. They might think that you don't like them. You just take the ownership, as uncomfortable as it might be for you, and send the invite. And if you have to send the invite more than once, do it, because sometimes people don't believe you when you invite them somewhere. So take ownership. If this was something that you thought was really, really important, like, I don't know, like form of art or your job or something, you would continue to do things no matter how hard they got. And so treat your friendships the same way. Like, nothing that is worth having comes easy. So you have to put effort into these things. Which leads me to my next point. Stop thinking that you don't have to put effort into your friendship. Stop thinking that people owe you something when they don't. No one owes you anything. And so if you want to take ownership of the situation, take ownership of the situation. But don't blame somebody else for why a situation is not up to your standard. It might be up to their standard. If you want it to be up to your standard, you are going to have to do the behaviors to make it up to your standard. Got it? Okay. Number two, stop the self-hate, stop limiting yourself, stop with the thoughts that no one wants to be your friend, no one wants to hang out with you, your friends are shitty, people are shitty. Cut all of that out. Your limiting thoughts, your limiting beliefs are feeding into themselves. So if you don't feel like you are worthy of friendship, then you're going to go into a situation and you're not going to come across as someone who is worthy of friendship. So be confident, realize that you have something to offer to somebody, and you will find that person. People do want to hang out with you. People do like you. You don't like yourself, and you don't want to hang out with yourself. So stop getting that tangled up with what other people think. Number three, be open to receiving. You can't be like, oh, well, I only want my friends to be blonde, and then be mad because like the pool of friends is small and the blonde people in front of you might not mesh with you. So you have to be open to being friends with people, like not based off of status, not based off of popularity, not based off of what kind of clout you can get from them. You have to be open to receiving friendship, and friendship will find you. Popular girl over there might not be for you. That might not be your friend. You guys might not have anything in common. And yes, she might be cool and a lot of people might like her, but that doesn't mean that you're going to like her. That doesn't mean that you guys have anything in common. So be open to receiving friendship in all places. This brings me to the next point. Understand the difference between a friend, an acquaintance, a coworker. I know in the social media space, a lot of what seemingly are friends are actually more like the coworker acquaintance category, but we know bits and pieces of everybody's lives, so it feels like it makes you you're closer, and it feels more intimate, and sometimes you think you're friends with people and you're not actually like truly friends. And so what's friendly to one person might be very superficial to another based off of the level of friendships that they have. Make sure that you are seeking out actual friendship for the right reasons. If you're just wanting to be popular, if you're just wanting to get clout, or if you're just wanting to network, that is fine. There is 100% nothing wrong with that, but that's not friendship. So don't be mad when you don't get true friendship scenarios. Don't like, you see people hanging out in groups all the time and they don't necessarily look like they're having the best time. They're just taking a group photo, and it's because the people aren't actually friends. Be very clear and intentional and ask for what you want. Do you want friendship, or do you want like popularity and clout? And again, not saying there's anything wrong with wanting popularity or clout. Like, we're humans and we want these things, but just realize that it's not friendship. And just because you see two people interacting online, it does not mean they're friends. Another thing is, take a look at yourself and ask yourself, would I want to be my friend? When you really, really are true to yourself and you realize, oh, I could be better, then it's okay. You can be better, and you can work. Just because you're not the best you can be right now doesn't mean that you will never be the best you can be. So just know, okay, like, if I was my friend, I would have wanted me to do XYZ. And work on yourself. Just work on yourself, work on being a better person. You can't let your ego get in the way when you're trying to invest in really meaningful friendships. You cannot let your ego get in the way. If you make sure that you are always, and not saying that you're not going to mess up, but as a rule of thumb, ask yourself, if I were my friend, would I have wanted me to do that? And that's how you should move. All right, so to sum it up, we're gonna stop limiting ourselves, stop saying that no one wants to hang out with us. People want to hang out with us. People want to be our friend. We are deserving of love and friendship. That's your first step. Second step, take accountability. If you want to hang out with someone, ask them out. Don't be sitting around pouting, asking why you weren't invited to the party. Like, maybe it's because they don't think you're interested because you've never reached out to them to ask them to hang out. So ask them to hang out a couple times. Like, invest in that friendship if you want it to actually be a friendship. Make sure that you have the right intentions when you are seeking someone out for a friend. Do you actually want to be friend with this person, or do you want to take from them? And if you want to take from them, you need to go back and evaluate your priorities. If you actually want to be friends with them, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get friendship. Be open. Along with that, don't be superficial message. Be open to receiving friends regardless of the type of person they are, regardless of who they hang out with, regardless of how popular they are. If they have something to offer you from a friendship standpoint, then their popularity and how they look and all that other stuff should not matter. And those are pretty much my tips. If I think of anything else, I'll do a part 2. But if any of you guys have questions or just thoughts or comments, please drop them below. If you have fun stories of how you've manifested great friends, please drop them below. I can honestly say that I have manifested some great friends. And that's not to say that it's easy all the time. That's not to say that it's always positive and that there aren't negative circumstances. But overall, I am pretty satisfied with my friendships. I hope you all take care, and I'll talk to you soon.